Welcome back to The Pursuit of Accuracy. I'm Josh, and I've got Chris from Midwest Long Range with me. And today we are talking to you about scopes. So this is really for like beginners. If you're getting into some sort of rifle shooting and you're looking at all these scope options, you don't know what they mean. We're going to try and break them down in a layman's terms for you today. And it's something that I don't feel like is talked about enough. People typically are like really data driven when they come to scopes. They talk about first focal plane, second MOA, mil radian. I want to break it down what it means to you as it pertains to what you might or might not be doing with the scope. So big shout out to Tracked Optics. This video is in cooperation with those guys, John and John, the owners. Really good guys, and I run their scopes basically on all my rimfires. This is my like precision rimfire optic. So this one is the Track Torque ELR. It is an MRAD scope, so it is mil turret, mil reticle, and it is first focal plane. Let's talk about maybe the different kind of scopes that people will see. So you got first focal plane, second focal plane.
Yeah.
So
you know, traditionally, kind of people coming from the hunting side of it, they're all going to be coming from second focal plane,
yeah,
small main tubes, probably MOA related.
Yeah, probably.
And then, like we talked about earlier, there's some guys who, especially if you think about that traditional, what maybe people not in the sport would think of as that sniper, the whole mil dot thing,
yeah,
right?
The mil dot, yep, mil dot reticles. So we're talking just a crosshair with just mil dots, and they represent 1 mil. Very rudimentary.
Yeah, and a lot of times those are mix matched, MOA and mil.
Yeah, so Chris brings a good point. When you're buying a scope, no matter what you buy, make sure you match the turrets to the reticle. Now, it's not really a problem on modern scopes, but there are scopes lingering out there where it'll have an MOA reticle and mil turrets or vice versa, and they are basically good for nothing. As we get in the video, that will make a lot more sense. But so we got, so we're looking at first focal plane, second focal plane. For those of you guys, I'll put an image up now. A first focal plane reticle, the reticle stays true to the image size. So as you increase magnification on your scope, your reticle gets bigger. Now, why that's important and what that might be good for is if you're engaging targets at multiple distances, you might find yourself holding over. And say you're zeroed at 50 yards and you want to engage a shot with your 22 at 100. Pretty typically, that's 1.8 mils. And that won't change in your reticle as far as holding over, no matter what magnification you're at. Now, a second focal plane scope, the reticle stays the same exact size all the time. And when you increase magnification, just the image gets bigger. And it has its pros and cons. Maybe, Chris, where do you see that a lot?
So when you're running second focal plane, right, you're not really being hindered until you go to change magnification.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and a lot of times that scope will have a certain magnification, usually on the very high end, it seems like, where all of your subtensions are true.
Yep.
So if you want to run that scope like a fixed power optic,
yeah, you can.
You can do that. But it really limits, kind of like if we were running a troop line on a PRS stage or something, you might need a little less magnification, or if you're running a super small target,
you're tied
distance,
to whatever the scope manufacturer decides to set it. Yeah,
you don't have that variance that you can kind of play with.
Yeah, a lot of times if you're shooting, that's probably the biggest determination you need to make. Probably the most important, first focal plane versus second focal plane. If you're shooting fixed distance targets, especially paper targets, you see a lot of guys shoot second focal plane because the crosshair is usually very fine and it doesn't get bigger. So you can have it all the way at max magnification looking at your paper target. Your reticle is still fine. That allows you to shoot and your reticle doesn't cover up much of the target. That can be important when you're talking F-class, bench rest, all those kind of sports. Now, on the flip side, if you're going to shoot PRS or any kind of like action shooting sport where you're engaging targets at multiple distances, you're going to pretty much see first focal planes, and that's because of what Chris was saying. This reticle is true at any magnification. So if you know you need to hold 2 mils for your next target and you decide to go to 30 power, it's still 2 mils on your reticle. If you're at 10 power, it's still 2 mils. It doesn't ever change. So you're able to hold over and make holdovers, hold unders at any magnification without it affecting your ability to do that.